So today we're going to be talking all about how Wodify can help you optimize every single piece of the customer life cycle. We have gone ahead and broken the customer life cycle into 4 pieces: discovery, conversion, engagement, and retention. And so just to break those down a little bit more, discovery is going to be like that initial interaction somebody has when they go to look for your business, how they're finding you, what happens when they hit your website. Conversion is going to be all about how we're getting them from interest to action, so getting that lead to convert. Engagement could arguably be a part of retention, but we've broken those out just to get a little bit more detailed. So engagement is going to look like how are we optimizing unique opportunities to positively interact with our members. And then retention is going to look like how are we predicting risk for churn for certain clients and making sure we are being proactive in reaching out and keeping them engaged with the business. And we want to talk about all of this today because for a lot of people, it may be common to have one area of this funnel where you're really strong and another area where maybe you haven't ever prioritized much or it's not as strong as it could be. And so we want to make sure that you have a good understanding about how Wodify can help support every single stage of the customer life cycle, all in the system you are already using. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and break that down today for you. It is going to be how we organize the webinar agenda today. So we're going to start off with discovery, and then we're just going to kind of follow all the way through the life cycle as we tie it to Wodify tools. Again, this is meant to be a very interactive webinar. So if you have any comments, questions, please drop those in the chat and Q&A as we go. I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Taryn. She is going to kick us off with the discovery section.
All right, so like Reagan mentioned, I am focused on discovery. Starting out with a question for you all: how do you attract new leads? And this is not how do we get new leads to sign up as a member when they come in the door. This is how do you get them in the door in the first place? How are you attracting them from the website, any digital marketing you have, paper marketing maybe? Go ahead and answer in the chat. Excuse me. Social media and intro classes. Yeah, that's great. So when you talk about intro classes, how do you market those? Facebook ads, Insta ads. Yeah, a lot of word of mouth and ads, referrals, bring a friend week, social media. That all checks out. Nick, great answer. Facebook ads and top rated on Google. So that second part is what I want to dive into. Top rating on Google. So a lot of you mentioned ads and social media. I'm going to focus on organic discovery today. This is not necessarily the easiest way to get leads in the door, but it is the cheapest. SEO is free. So this is what we're going to focus on. So what I want to focus on is attracting more leads from Google. Your goal when it comes to this is twofold. You want to get Google to rank your website highly, so you show up within the first couple pages of search results. You also want people to click on your website from search results. So everything I talk about today is going to be based on that. So the first point I have here is including service and location-based keywords on all landing pages. This is going to help Google recognize what your website is, what your business does, what the intent of your business is, and help you rank on those pages. So the example I have here is from Team Moeller MMA. They are a MMA and Jiu-Jitsu gym in Grapevine, Texas. You'll see this is just the hero image or the hero unit on their homepage. But you can see even just within that one section, we've got a whole bunch of location and service-based keywords. You'll see MMA, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym in Grapevine, Texas. You see in the description right there, we've got a description of all the services they offer. So Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, MMA, wrestling, boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai. It also says for all ages and experience levels. So the more information you can pack in there, the better. The other thing I want to call out about keywords here, especially when it comes to Google rankings and helping Google recognize, the closer you can get to what people are actually searching for, the better. So I want to call out that top hero there, MMA and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym in Grapevine, Texas. If someone goes into Google and searches BJJ gym in Grapevine, Texas, there's a pretty high likelihood that this will show up because of those keywords, and that's what Google is recognizing. We'll go ahead and go to the next one. The other thing you want to do is optimize meta titles and descriptions with high impact keywords. So this helps Google rank your business, but this also helps people actually click into your website. So as you'll see here, we've got some really good keywords in there. Again, you've got your company name, best jiu-jitsu gym in Grapevine, Texas. That's really close to what people might be searching for. You'll see we've got certain keywords bolded in the description there. You can see the entire description, and it's got some really, it's got what people are looking for. If I'm gonna go look for a jiu-jitsu gym in Grapevine, I wanna know exactly what they do. So tell them what they do. Convince people to click on your website. That's what this is for. I recognize some people might not be able to identify a good meta description versus a bad one, pretty common. So comparison's sake here, which one are you more likely to click on? The one with the company name and the location and the one that says best jiu-jitsu gym in the title? Or are you going to click on the one at the bottom that doesn't have a location, doesn't really have much information in the description? You can see the description's cut off there. So there are certain things you want to look for, not just to help you rank in Google, but to actually help people click on your website as well. All right, to the next step. The other thing when it comes to meta titles and descriptions is structured data. So what you saw on that last screen is just like a meta title and description for one page. You want to make sure those are unique for every page. If you just have one per page, you're not going to get a nice rich search result like this. If you have unique meta titles and descriptions on every page, you're going to end up with a much nicer, much cleaner, rich search result like this, where you don't just have the homepage featured, you also have the schedule, about your location pages, your program pages, your membership rates. This is a much more appealing result for users. This also, basically, if you see this result, this means it's doing pretty well in Google. Google is recognizing the structure of your website and it's calling out every single page and developing a richer result. All right. The last thing you want to focus on in this area is enhancing map packs and local listings with local business schema and Google Business Profile. Again, this is twofold. This helps you rank in Google. It also helps people click on your website. I'm sure all of you have clicked on a result that looks a little bit like this from Google search results. If you're looking for a specific business or a specific service in an area, chances are you're going to get at least one result that looks like this. And this is the shiniest result. So how do you get something that looks like this? This comes from Google Business Profile, first and foremost. But in order for it to show up on Google nicely, you really want to have local business schema enabled as well. Those things are complementary to each other. You don't technically need both, but in order to work as best as possible, you do need both. Local business schema is just a structured data on the back end of your website. Your developer or the Wodify Sites team can take care of that for you. But if you have not optimized your Google Business Profile yet, definitely do so. You want to make sure that you have all the information here. You want to make sure it's connected and verified so your reviews show up and your profiles show up. But yeah, this is like number one thing you can do for Google, especially local search rankings. All right. So once people have found your website, the next step is to get them to take action. Clicking on the website is just the first step. So we're going to focus on what happens next. So the first thing you want to include clear, consistent CTAs across your whole website. CTA is a call to action. This can be anything from a button, a link, even a line of text telling someone what to do, like call us. You'll see on this example here, Cypress CrossFit, you've got that get started button pretty much in every section all the way down the page. You also have the form option. If people don't want to hit get started, they'd rather contact you. So all the way down the page here, we are pushing people to convert. You're giving them an opportunity to convert everywhere they look on your website. And if they don't want to convert with the get started page, you have another option for the form. All right. The next thing you want to do is create a landing page focused solely on your main conversion goal. So this is one of Wodify Sites specifically best practices. You might see a get started page on any website you join. It might be free trial, it might be something like that. No matter what it is, no matter what your conversion goal is, you want to have a page that reflects that. Not only does this give a better chance to rank in Google and have people just click on that page and convert immediately, that works really nicely, but this gives you the opportunity to really draw out how your process works. All gyms work a little bit differently. As a CrossFit gym, you might have a free trial and a free intro. Some people might be a little bit intimidated by a free trial, so you can offer, a free intro, or in this example, go ahead and click a form. So again, like I mentioned, this is giving them multiple opportunities to convert. So you are laying out the steps on this page. You have your main conversion goal there, but you also have another option. Just in case they don't want to immediately book a free trial or a free intro, they can contact you, ask you some questions. But the goal here really is to have a page focused on your main conversion goal that really gives people the full idea of what they're going to be getting when they join your gym and help them do that. The next step is to define post-conversion actions to keep your users engaged. This one's a little simpler, pretty straightforward, but you don't want users to feel like they've just dropped off the map after they've signed up with you. If they sign up for a free trial, free intro, whatever, even just telling them thank you is enough. You can also redirect them to the online sales portal page. So I know that a lot of our clients have forms as their main conversion goal. That's great. People also usually like to schedule right after they contact you guys. So if you want to give an option to, fill out the form, that's great if that's your main conversion goal, but then you can redirect your form to the OSP page and have them book their appointment immediately after they sign up. If you don't want to do that, you can, of course, just send them to a thank you page. The only goal here is to provide some sort of follow-up from your client for your client so they know that they didn't just drop off the map, and they're still engaging with you. All right. So that's a lot of work and it's a lot to remember. And honestly, that doesn't cover nearly as much as goes into actually building a website. But the good news is we've got Wodify sites and we can do that for you. What we'll take care of local search optimization. So we run research on every single website we have. We will base your keyword optimization based on that research. So specific keyword strings about your services, your locations, your website will be built around that. Locate local business schema. So that was that tricky structured data step I mentioned a couple slides prior. We'll take care of that for you. That's something we do automatically on every Wodify site. So you don't even have to ask us for it. You don't even have to remember it. Google Business Profile and Search Console integrations. So we offer a Google Business Profile sync with a website so you can keep your data up to date and don't have to worry about updating it in two places at once. Search Console helps with sitemaps. But we take care of all of that for you. Again, those are things that are automatically included in Wodify sites. You don't have to ask. Conversion optimization, we have super integrated lead forms. We can either get those through Core or we can make you a custom lead form and hook it up through workflows. We also have some really cool online sales portal integrations like a modal with a pop-up. We have custom conversion flows and landing pages based on business goals. So instead of just giving you like a copy and paste template, we really go into your website, figure out your unique business goals, and make sure your conversion flow reflects that. Last step here is the expert post-launch support. So we don't just hand you the website and leave you to your own. We help you every step of the way. If you need any help with editing, you need help with SEO, you're seeing leads go down, you have some UX issues, our support team can help you out with that. We have years of experience in SEO and UX. So if you see any issues with your website, we can run an audit for you, really dive in and help you figure out your performance. We also offer monthly performance reports where we just send you data about your website. If you see anything weird going on in there, you can flag it to our support team and we'll help you out from there. But the goal here is, you don't have to do it yourself. Wodify sites are also only $99 if you're not on a Ultimate plan. If you're on Ultimate, it's free, kind of a no-brainer. And that $99 is for the month. So if you want to sign up for a Wodify site, go ahead and scan this QR code to get a free website audit and demo. What is UX? UX is user experience. My apologies. That's how users interact with your website.
Thank you, Taryn. That's awesome. And I think too, like that feels maybe you're not quite ready for a website audit. Of course, our team's always there when you are. This link is always our link you would use to do that. But I think you could take the recording I send you of this webinar afterwards and critically look at your website against everything Taryn just outlined. Like really give an outsider view of your site. What does it look like when somebody looks for you? And then once they get to your website, is it clear? Try booking your actual free intro or free trial. What happened? So sometimes if you have a website, maybe you've had it for years, you're not really sure what things do anymore. Go ahead and look at it critically because it's so important for that initial interaction somebody has with your business. All right, Taryn, anything else you wanted to add there?
Nope, that was a great tip. I mean, really, that's what we do on our team as well, is step back and take a look at a website as if we were both brand new to CrossFit or jujitsu or experienced, we'll take a look at it from pretty much every user standpoint you can think of. So literally start from scratch, start from Google results if you want to, and just, yeah, take a look at it through every user persona you have.
Yeah, and another little tip, use like a private browsing or an incognito window too, so that you don't have like cookie tracking that kind of biases search results towards your site. So a little tip there. Alrighty, so we're gonna move on to the conversion stage of the customer life cycle. So we've just worked really hard to optimize how people are finding us, what it looks like when they find us. Now let's talk about, we've got a lead, maybe they filled out that form or they booked a trial. What do we do next and how do we convert them to a client? So first, before we jump in, I want to know a little bit more about your current lead management process. How are you currently keeping track of and managing leads? Are you using Trello, Excel sheets, sticky notes? Your memory, hopefully not. If it's anything like mine, you want to write things down and have some clear steps you take to follow up with people. All right, go ahead and throw that in the chat. Alex, already ahead of the pack using the lead tracker on Wodify. Renee, you too. Rick, we got you on Go High Level. Let's see, Kara, Excel, lead tracker. All right. Spreadsheet as a backup. Okay, awesome. Thank you guys so much for sharing. So the reason I ask is because it's very important that you have a clear and consistent way that you are managing and tracking your leads. A lot of times people will mention leads ghosting them. They fill out a free trial or they fill out a form and then you just never hear from them again. But it's also pretty common for business owners and managers to accidentally ghost leads. Leads lose interest really fast, and if you don't follow up, I guarantee someone else will, whether that's the business down the street or your direct competitor. You want to make sure you're not just following up, but you're doing it quickly and consistently. And without a system to clearly understand what stage of the process your leads are in, it's really easy to forget who's waiting on what. Does Taryn need pricing or does Taryn need to be booked for a trial? I'm trying to remember, I'm looking through text messages. It's not a very clear system for organizing that follow-up. And every missed follow-up is a missed revenue opportunity. So if you have a direct competitor down the street who's doing this better than you are and they get a handle on that lead faster than you do, that lead may just take that opportunity to go with that business instead of yours. So a couple of you are ahead of the game. You're already using the lead conversion board in Wodify. But if you're not, please take a look. It is awesome. It is a newer feature. We released it around August of last year, but it is a Kanban style board view of your entire lead pipeline. It allows you to track your leads by stage in a visual drag and drop board. So for example, if you have a Wodify site and you have a form on that website, somebody fills out that form, they're going to automatically drop into the new status column. If they they book a trial on the online sales page, then they're going to pop into the trial column. So it does a little bit of automated tracking for you. And then as they progress through the stages, you can either manually drag them over or, add them to a trial class to get them into that trial column. You can also assign tasks and follow-ups to your team manually directly from this board. So you can, instead of writing on a piece of paper or in an Excel sheet that somebody needs some sort of action taken, you can tie a task using our task management feature directly to that lead. So Emma here, maybe she reserved the trial class, but I want to remember to follow up with her afterwards. I can add that task for myself or for a manager to follow up with her after her trial. And then it's going to be tied to Emma. So I'll be able to easily reference all of her information and class reservation details. And then you can also add notes. So anyone on your team, especially if you're sharing lead management, has notes and context on the leads, and anyone can kind of jump in and pick up at any stage of the process. My favorite part about this board is it is also fully customizable. So everybody's sales funnel is a little bit different, maybe what you call different stages or how many stages you have. So you can do all kinds of customization to this board. You can rename statuses, including existing statuses. You can also add new status types. You can customize even what the tile card is displaying. So here we're showing how long a lead has been a lead for, when they were last contacted, and any tags associated. But I can also change those out to different properties such as like display notes and other things like that. We already talked a little bit about tasks. So you can manually assign tasks, but you can also, we'll get into this in just a second, use our workflow tool to automate task reminders. And then, like most pages in Wodify, this board can be filtered based off of a ton of criteria. So you can create some custom filtered views to help you easily prioritize what leads need followed up with first. Before we get into kind of how you can optimize that lead process, let me know what is one step in your lead follow-up process, we're being a little bit vulnerable here, that tends to fall through the cracks. Where could you be doing a little bit better? That could be from first outreach to kind of when people start dropping off, being a little less responsive. Go ahead and let us know in the chat. All right, Renee kicking us off. When her follow-up tends to drop off when they haven't responded after 2 or 3 outreach attempts. Jamie, similar, if they're not responding to text, she gives up. Great turnaround time for me to follow up to first outreach. Brian, that's a good one. That's a very honest answer. Not a lot of people read emails or answer phone calls. Texting seems to be better, but it's very manual, which, yep, could slow down how quickly you're following up with people. So yeah, you guys can continue to, yeah, that's fair, Renee. When they ask to reschedule over and over, that's fair. Maybe you just decide, maybe we're better off without this one. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about how we can convert more leads with automation. So this is going to cover any of those stages of lead follow-up. So if there's an area here you need a little bit more help with, you might find one section more interesting than the other. But first, for new leads. So what we can do with our automation tool called Workflows is when somebody fills out a form or expresses initial interest in your website, but doesn't take any sort of like concrete action, like booking a trial or booking a no sweat intro or intro appointment, we can enroll them in an automation that could be a series of text messages, manual tasks for you to give them a personal call and follow up, and emails to try and prompt them to take action and commit to something. For trial leads, we want to increase the rate at which they show up for those trials. So we're going to automate reminders and also a little bit of coach or instructor prep before the person shows up. So if we've got somebody who's going to be coaching the class they're going to try out, we're going to automatically assign them a task with all of that lead's information to make sure they give that person a really personalized experience. And then for post-trial, this I think can be an area where people can tend to drop off. So maybe they attend a trial class and then they're just not really quite ready to take the next step, or maybe they ran out the door really quick and the coach didn't get them in time to like ask them about setting up a membership. We want to make sure we're following up with them quickly post-trial. So we have automations there that kind of prompt them towards maybe taking another trial if they're still on the fence, or buying that membership. And then for cold leads, a couple of you answered to this being an area of opportunity to improve in. If you're giving up after like 2 or 3 times of contacting somebody, I think you're leaving some opportunity on the table. So cold leads still expressed some sort of interest in your business. So they're technically still like a pretty good lead. And we want to make sure we're continuing to engage with them long term. And 2 to 3 messages aren't going to do that a lot of the time. So a no could be a no for now, but not a no forever. And so it's really important that you have long-term nurture campaigns running so that if somebody does decide 3 months down the road, okay, I'm ready, they can just go ahead and jump in. You're going to be front of mind because they've been getting emails from you throughout the way. Okay, so we're going to give you some things you can do to get started with kind of optimizing that conversion process, but it's going to tie in to a lot of what we're talking about next. So I'll give you some QR codes to scan shortly. And then if you have to jump early, I will be emailing these links as well. So we're going to go ahead and move on to engagement. So you work super hard, you get a lead to convert to a member. And then what? How are you keeping that person engaged? What is your new member experience like? And then how are you keeping, that really high touch, high quality experience going at your business? So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Steve.
Cool. Thank you, Reagan. So as we've been asking questions, we've been getting really good responses. So we got another one for you here. Talking about engagement for these new clients. How do you keep a new client engaged in their first 2 weeks? Throw it in the chat. What strategies do you have to make that new member feel special?
Andrew, I like the honesty. First 2 weeks, not much. That's okay. We can help you. Lori, 100-day journey. Love it.
Emily automating a little bit.
Lori, I'd love to know what your 100-day journey, just like from a high level, looks like. Like, what are you doing? Are you doing check-ins, text messages? What does that look like?
Lots of check-ins. I like to see that too. A little bit of personal touch there. Awesome.
Brian
Yeah,
does a
really
new
great.
Brian does a new member gift. What are you giving him, Brian? Getting some swag? I love that. Give him make him proud wearing that new gym t-shirt. It's awesome.
Cool. Lots of swag. I like to see that. Awesome. Cool. So let's talk about why the first 90 days are critical. So some of you have that 100-day journey. We asked specifically about the first 2 weeks before that. We're going to focus on 90 days right now. So we have data from thousands of businesses showing that new clients' first 90 days are the most important. 45% of new clients will cancel within their first 90 days. However, of the clients that make it past 90 days, 53% will remain for a year or more. So those first 90 days are super, super important. One way to make sure you're making the most of those 90 days, the first 90 days, is to have a consistent onboarding experience. We're going to show you how Wodify makes that super easy with automation, but first, why is that important? You want consistent communication from day one. So think of a time you gave a new member a really exceptional onboarding experience. Odds are they stuck around. It's also likely that timely and clear communication played a big role in that. Automation is going to ensure that everyone gets the best text you've ever sent, the best email you've ever crafted, and make sure that you never miss a beat during that process. Now, let's talk about that repeatable onboarding experience. So first, as part of our automations, our Wodify workflows, we offer tons of pre-built content to help you get started right away. We also give you the ability to add your own voice and flair to make those communications fit your brand and your personality. We've even had some businesses get really creative with this. One example, a gym in Georgia wanted in-app chat messages going out to members who didn't attend in the last week, but they didn't want the same message going out every time. So they created a bank of 20+ messages to go out at random when someone hits their 7th day without attending class. The result there, members replying, knowing the familiar tone of the gym owner, who has now revealed himself in the chat here. And those people ended up coming back to class. My personal favorite was, "Get back in here, your barbell misses you." All right, another way we can help you out is with progressions. So this is really important to celebrate those early wins. Progressions are great for this. Here we have an example of a class milestone progression to award badges for the 1st class, the 5th class, the 10th, and so on, showing your new clients the early progress that they're making already and keeping those touch points consistent. And next, quality and consistency from day one. Like I mentioned earlier, the automations, the email and the message templates, those are all done for you, but you have the ability to make it your own. So whichever winning recipe you settle on, Workflows is going to ensure that you offer a high quality, consistent onboarding for all of your new clients.
And I'm just going to jump in before we go to the next part. If you're thinking it's too good to be true, it's not. Workflows, our automation tool, is included in all Wodify accounts and packages. So, really hang on to every single word Steve is saying here, because you can do any of this. Our team will help you. And so I want you all getting excited. And if you're paying for another tool to do this, maybe it's a good way to save a little bit of money too. All right, Steve.
All right. So we talked a little bit about celebrating moments that matter. Let's take a look at a few more of those. But first, as always, the why. Recognizing your clients for their hard work and appreciating them makes you stand out against the business down the street. These small touches go a long way in building community and keeping members engaged. With Wodify automations, you can recognize first attendance milestones. So example here of someone's 75th class. After that class, they're going to get an automated email congratulating them on that 75th class. We're going to request a Google review there too. So really nice way to up those Google reviews that Taryn was talking about earlier. Boost your online presence there. Next, we have weekly streaks. So more done for you automations. By the way, like Reagan mentioned, these are already built. They're ready to go. But we've got a whole team ready to help you set these up. So weekly streaks is another one, encouraging consistency. So here's an example of someone who hit a 50-week streak. We're going to congratulate them on that. They're 2 weeks away from attending every week for a full year in a row. And automations are going to help you never miss those key milestones. And then last, brand new one, we just released this, a new PR automation. So someone hits I think in this example, we've got deadlift. Reagan hit 245 pounds in the deadlift here. It's a new PR. We're going to send her a message and congratulate her on that, show her how she's been improving over time. And all of this is without lifting a single finger. So we get that there might be some hesitation with sending communications out automatically, but Wodify Workflows is here to help you start more conversations. Automation is the spark. You can use your own personal touch to carry the conversation from there, but by recognizing these milestones, we're starting conversations. Maybe someone's got a new goal. Maybe they're trying to improve in something else. By congratulating them on these little milestones, we're helping you create more of these meaningful conversations with your members. And another thing I want to note about those, all of that data, the attendance, the weekly streaks, the PRs, all of that is only available in Wodify. So we want you to make the most of that. We've built automations around it. It's already there, so you don't have to stitch things together from different platforms, making this truly a one-of-a-kind automation experience. So now we've talked about gaining new leads, converting them to full-time members with you, and then keeping them engaged early on, specifically in those first 90 days. Now we're going to turn our attention to longer-term retention and acting on smart insights. So first way to do that is by consistently using Retain. So for those of you not using it yet, I'll give you a quick overview of what Retain is. Retain is an algorithm using millions of data points across thousands of businesses, and it predicts which of your clients are likely to cancel your membership, so you can prevent churn and increase your revenue. Just think, if you're gaining 5 new clients a month but losing 3, you're only growing by 2, and at that pace, it could take over 2 years to grow by 50 members, assuming none of them churn. Retention needs to be intentional and not reactive. So how can you be more proactive? First, don't wait for them to disappear. Get and retain, see who's at risk, use this retain report to flag at-risk clients. So we're going to list them out here. We're going to show you who's at risk. You can log those contacts as you start to reach out to people. And we'll also show you how much that you can save by saving all of these clients on that list. And finally, automated messages and tasks to keep outreach timely. Wodify workflows is integrated with Retain to automatically notify you when a new client is marked as at risk. This is another instance where automation gives you the nudge, but then you have the chance to reach out with your own personal touch to save that at-risk client.
Just a few more things to kind of bring attention to with Retain. I think a lot of people are really focused on tracking attendance drop-offs as their main method for spotting a drop-off in engagement. But what's cool about Retain is it's looking at more than just attendance, which is why you may be like, why is this person showing up? They were just here yesterday, but maybe Steve stopped logging performance results as much as he was before. That may be a data point that is being triggered by Retain as a reason he may be coming at risk. Or maybe Taryn is brand new to my business, so I should be looking at her as somebody who does need a little bit extra attention to be retained. So if you're interested in getting a little bit more into the details, Retain is a really good predictive tool. On the other side of things, we do have a more simple automation if your main priority is attendance drop-offs. So we have an automation that can trigger if somebody hasn't come in 7 days, 10 days, 15 days, 2 days, whatever you decide that number is. We can either automatically follow up with them or assign you a task to reach out directly.
Yes, great call out, Reagan. It's doing so much more than just the attendance tracking. So definitely a good report to keep an eye on. So lastly, at this point, you've put a bunch of work into boosting your lead generation, perfecting your conversion process, and retaining more clients. We want to make sure all of that is paying off for you. And the way to do that is through analytics in Wodify. It's going to be your one-stop shop for metric tracking. We have basic reports for your day-to-day operations, insights dashboards to dive deeper into the data, and even custom reporting to tailor reports to your exact needs. So here are just a few examples of metrics related to what we discussed today. On the right, we've got lead conversion. So how many clients or how many leads are converting from the ones generated. We've got a 90-day retention rate. So of the number of clients that start with you, how many are still around after 90 days? And we've benchmarked an industry average of 55% there. And then lastly, new clients over time. Are you consistently growing your community? Next, tracking is great, but we want to make sure you're taking action on these insights as well. An example of that with lead conversion specifically, let's say you're tracking by source. We've got one built-in insights to do that. Let's say you're converting 50% of leads referred by family or friends, but only 10% of leads from social media. Insights in Wodify will help you identify gaps like that. Maybe you can automate outreach to those leads that are coming in from social media or set reminders to call them. Maybe they need a more clear call to action like Taryn was talking about with the website for booking trial classes. So that's just one example of how you can improve from what the data is telling you. And then lastly, you can use that data to prove that your efforts are worthwhile. Give yourself a pat on the back if you are reaching record high conversion rates, if your retention rate is above industry average. We've spent a lot of time talking about celebrating your clients, but use this data to also celebrate yourself and knowing that your efforts are truly making a difference. That's all I have. I'm going to pass it back to Reagan here to wrap us up.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. Okay, we're going to jump into questions in just a second. But real quick, as I promised you, a couple things you can do to get started with all of the information we shared today. So if you want that website audit, you want to see what Wodify sites can do to improve what you're currently doing on your current site, go ahead and scan the QR code on the left. If you're ready to start automating, Steve has a full team that he works with that helps you set these automations up. And what we've got here on this QR code is actually a form that you're going to go to and you're going to fill out your information. And then you've got a pick list, like a Christmas wish list, just what you want to work on, set up in your account. Just click on those and hit submit. And then our team will reach out to you. If it is a workflow that doesn't require any kind of customization or detailed setup, we can just turn it on if you like, or you can work more closely with our team to make customizations like changing email templates to sound more like you, text messages, branding, etc. And then finally, if you maybe you're not using the lead conversion board, you're using an Excel sheet, or you're like kind of half in one and the other, and you want to look into how you could maybe consolidate and optimize how you're using these tools, book a one-on-one training call with our team. They'll be able to spend some time with you working directly through your exact use case and questions. And then while I've got all of your attention, I want to tease a couple things that are coming out in the near future. So we are doing a lot of work right now on appointments. I sent an email out on Monday. You should have received about some things we've recently released and some things coming out soon. One of those things is a new Kiosk Plus appointment panel. That's going to be awesome for those of you who offer personal training or individualized programming. And then we've also got the new point of sale coming out, I believe, in June. And then unified inbox. If you're like, where do I receive text messages, in-app chats, emails from clients? Currently, they're all 3 different areas in Wodify. You have to toggle between to see each inbox. Unified inbox is exactly what it sounds like. It's going to bring all of that into one place. So like Ben here on the image example, I can just easily toggle between my emails with him, text messages, and in-app chat. So a couple cool things coming down the line. We talked a lot today about how we can help you all improve your customer life cycle journey. It is really important to us at Wodify that you think of Wodify and the Wodify team as your business partner. We are here to help you take full advantage of the tools you are paying for and how you use them to run your business. So you can reach us through email, one-on-one Zoom calls using that QR code I shared before, live chat during our business hours, the business success team for automation and more technical integrations, and then the community hub, which I'll drop a link for real quick. So if you're looking for some more like casual interaction with other Wodify users, myself, our team, and another place to get updates, definitely join that group. It's a great group for like general questions and networking. So we've got that available for you as well.